Animal crackers have been a favorite childhood snack since 1883, but the crackers really took off in England when P.T. Barnum brought his circus act to the UK. Adults as well as children love animal crackers. This is a great project to do with children or grandchildren. To make animal crackers, you'll need 1 cup of white flour, 1/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour, 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/2 cup of oatmeal, 4 tablespoons of honey, 4 tablespoons of canola oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 4 tablespoons of buttermilk. Using a blender or a food processor, dump your oatmeal into your, I'm using a blender, and just pulse it until it's a fine flour. Dump your oat flour, which is now nicely turned into a flour, into your bowl with your whole wheat flour and your white flour. Add your 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, nutmeg, and baking soda, and mix well before we add our wet ingredient. Add my vanilla to my oil and honey mixture, and then into the bowl. With about half of the buttermilk mixture, and start mixing it. We're looking for a soft dough to form. I did add the rest of the buttermilk, and we're getting a nice soft dough here. Turn your dough out onto a lightly floured breadboard, and you want to just turn it a couple of times, and you want to flatten this out. And I'm going to actually be using a rolling pin. You want to get this fairly thin, and then the next step will be it needs to be refrigerated for at least an hour, maybe longer, before we use a cookie cutter and cut this into animal crackers. I'm rolling this cookie dough very thin, and I'm actually using, you could do this between saran wrap or plastic, but I'm actually using an extra baking pad. And once I have it nice and thin, I'll cover it with a piece of saran wrap, and it'll be refrigerated for at least an hour. Our chilled animal cracker dough is ready to be cut into animal shapes, and using our little mini cookie cutters, I'm going to place them on a baking sheet. I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and they'll bake for 5 to 7 minutes. This is a really good project to get the kids involved with helping. Once you have all your animals cut out, it's kind of fun to go in with a stick and just poke, give them an eye, makes them look. You can do other designs if you wanted to be creative, but for me, I'm just going to give them an eye. This goes into the preheated oven at 400 degrees. I'm going to start with 5 minutes. These animal crackers make a great afternoon snack with a glass of milk or a lunchbox treat. We are still enjoying animal crackers over 100 years later because, in a word, they are delightful and always a family favorite.